thing is fun. I am digging it.
Hey guys, look what I got. That's right, I got the new Durafly Micro Tundra. In this video, we're going to unbox it. We're going to take a look at all the parts and pieces. We're going to assemble it. We're going to do some tests on it on the bench after we assemble it. And then at the end, we're going to wrap things up with our pros and cons. Coming up next, we're going to see what's going on inside the box. All right, guys, here's what it looks like inside the box. As you can see, it's packaged nicely. You can also see that we've got some little mini floats in there. We've got a little mini spinner. We've got wheel landing gear, traditional landing gear, which is nice to have. You can pretty much take off and land on any terrain, at least that's how it seems right here. Coming up next, we're going to take everything out of the box and take a closer look. All right, guys, here's everything that comes inside the box. We'll take a little tour right here. I'm going to see if I can flip this main wing over here shortly because it looks great on the inside too. Got the floats back there. That is so cool that this thing comes with floats in the box. Here is the top part of the fuse. And once we get it assembled, I'm going to pop off that battery bay. For right now, we're just going to do a quick scan before we do the assembly. And let's see if I can flip this thing over and keep this one consistent shot, because that's what I prefer to do if I can. All right, guys, yeah. We've got no little floppy things. We've got a really nice control mechanism there for each of the control surfaces with the control rods, and that's really impressive on a microplane like this. And without any more talking, any more fluff, any more anything, let's put this thing together, and when you see this next, you're going to see it all assembled. All right, guys, before I reveal what this thing looks like fully assembled, I wanted to show you that this is something I haven't even seen on a much larger plane. This cowl is magnetic. That's awesome. So you can pop it off if you ever need to, let's say you nose it into the ground, you need to replace the motor, prop shaft, whatever. This thing, all you have to do is spin off the prop, the chrome spinner, and then give this thing a firm but gentle tug, and bam, you have access to the rest of the plane, which I think is pretty awesome. And I'm going to get into the build details a lot more coming up next, but I at least wanted to show you that really cool feature that I don't think many people will be talking about. That's all coming up next. Since I already have the cowl off while I was setting up the next scene, I figured, you know what, let's just give everyone a look at this high voltage 2S brushless motor that no one else is probably going to give. And right there you've got the magnets. You can see the magnets that hold the cowl in place. And room, you can always add more, it looks like, too, if you really want to, but I think it should be just fine. This is a really light aircraft, guys, so I am so pumped for a high voltage 2S brushless experience, which would be great. While we've got this right here, I want to show you something that HobbyKing wanted us reviewers to communicate. Right here, right here, right here, and right here, they recommend cutting that off so you can have better access to the battery bay. You don't need it for structural reinforcement. This plane is really, really small, really light, but really durable. Like these wing struts really reinforce things nicely. There's only one screw on the top, but that's okay. Because we've got these wing struts doing that. You can also add a little CA on the underside in here if you want to, if you really want to. I don't think it's necessary, but certainly an option for you. However, I think that I should be able to put my battery right here without having to cut that. I've also got my receiver back in there, and I'll have links in the description to the plane and everything that I used to make this work. And coming up next, I'm going to show this everything fully assembled, just how beautiful this thing looks with the landing gear on. All right, guys, this is what it looks like fully assembled, and it is a cute looking little guy. The colors look great, kind of a limeish green. I know the original Tundra had kind of the darker green, and both look really nice, guys. I believe there's another color option too. I'm glad I got this one because that fits more my flavor. I think the other one has a little more of the fly cat flavor, so pick the one that looks better to you, one that you'll be able to see best in the sky, as well as what will look great sitting on the shelf or your bench or wherever you plan to store this thing. So with all that being said, we've got kind of a build overview to talk about here. The assembly was very quick, very easy. If you've ever put together a standard plug and play plane, this should not take you long at all. It really went well together. The manual, I believe, is like 2 pages, and it's not highly detailed, mostly pictures, so it is very straightforward. And really the only thing that may take time is cutting out that plastic if that's what you want to do. The battery that I was sent with this, and actually bought some more of them because I cannot wait to fly the crap out of this thing many times, make a lot of videos with it. So if you have not subscribed yet, click that subscribe button, click that bell, and I'm going to deliver as much variety with this as I can. I'm going to fly it with high voltage packs, standard 2S packs with the JST plug. We're going to mix it up, and eventually I will fly it on floats, I'm sure, but just not right away. And yeah, guys, coming up next, we're going to do a tour, and I'm going to talk about some of the assembly things. So that's all coming up next. Okay, so we are going to do some scans for the camera right here. One thing that I really want to show that I'm very impressed with, honestly, we've got these very simple yet secure ways to adjust this. In fact, the landing gear on some of my big EDF jets are very similar to this, and that's for the flaps, the ailerons, and of course I bumped this stuff around a little bit, guys. It's balanced nicely. I did make a slight tweak to the flaps to make sure they're completely even, just so you know that. And it was very quick and easy to do. And pretty much the assembly is you put the main wing on, right? Screw that down. And then you screw the struts in. And it's labeled for E. And one side is a little bit longer than the other. I believe the wing gets the little bit longer plastic. You can line them up side by side and find that. There's a little plastic thing that receives the screw, and this is really well built, guys. And then all you have to do is literally just slide that landing gear in there, and it's nice and secure. Very similar deal in the tail section, and it's pretty much that easy, guys. I don't even think I had to do anything with the tail section. I think the tail section came fully assembled already. I'm gonna have to double check that. If I'm wrong, I'll put a note up right now, but I think I'm right on that. It was really quick and easy to do, so that is really rare and fantastic. So coming up next, we are gonna test the control surfaces. Before we move on, I wanted to make sure I touched on this because this is a nice little feature. This is a water rudder, guys. This goes on the tail section of the plane. All you have to do is slide out the tail wheel, slide this in, and you're set and ready to go. It looks like the float installation is really basic and straightforward. So that is awesome too. And I'll update the notes in the description of the video over time after I fly this, install the floats and fly this with this water rudder. I'll let you know exactly what's going on like I do with everything else. But coming up next, we are going to play with the control surfaces. So here we are with the control surfaces test. Got the elevator. I've got the rates set to 100%. I'm not positive what the manual suggests, but I'm thinking I'm going to have my high rates at 100% and then probably knock the low rates down to probably 70-75%, and then add appropriate expo. And Guys, I am so excited to fly this thing. And check this out. We got flaps. I may show the flaps from a different angle. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that. But they are really nice. It'll help it slow down really well, I'm sure. I'm going to do the flaps one more time right there. All right, guys, we are going to pivot this to a different angle so you can get a different look at the control surfaces. We've got another angle here. Hopefully we'll be able to see the flaps really well right here. That is my half flaps or takeoff flaps. And there's my full flaps. It'll deflect more, but for me right there, that should be plenty of flaps for this little guy. And if I need to, I'll adjust. And of course, I'll share that information with you guys both in the description on my live show, as well as in future videos probably. I plan to make a ton of videos pretty much as long as this plane holds up and as long as I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to be making lots of videos with this plane. So there's that. And now another angle. You can see just how much throw we've got on those ailerons. And elevator, quite a bit of throw there too, which is nice. And rudder, lots of rudder. For a tail dragger, I think the ground handling should be quite nice on this. And coming up next, we are going to do our pros and cons. Now we're going to do the pros and cons. As far as the pros go, the assembly is super easy for me. I like it when you just need to screw in a couple screws and you're ready to fly, because that's what I like to do, fly. The chrome spinner is also a nice pro. The big boy Tundra does not come with that, so that is awesome. The fact that it comes with floats out of the box and a water rudder, another huge pro. Even larger RC models that have floats do not always have a water rudder, so that is great. The motor is 2S high voltage LiPo compatible. Very cool. Flaps come installed. The control rods come attached, and you can adjust them nice and easy. Ailerons also came attached. Pretty much so easy to build right out of the box. That is great. As far as the cons go, cutting the plastic, not exactly a pro. I don't think you have to do that, but it is recommended by HobbyKing to do that. So make your own choice on that. Do what you please. Do what you think is best for you and your flying characteristics, the battery you choose. And I'm gonna have links to the battery, the plane, everything I used to make this video in the description of the video. And click on those links. That helps support the channel. Much appreciated, guys. With all that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. And GBLynden out.